everyone, it's your girl ATL Nini, aka Nia D, and this time I have something different for my channel. I'm trying it out, a little story time. Really, it's just me explaining my experience with my odd roommate. Yeah. So on Instagram, I posted a few weeks ago for y'all to vote, my followers to vote, and if you don't follow me on Instagram, like, are you dumb? Like, why? Like, why do you not follow me? Like, why? Like, I just want to know. But yeah, so I posted on my Instagram story for y'all to vote on what story time you wanted to hear first. So the options were my first apartment odd roommate, my worst boss that I've ever had, and my corona roommate. But today I'm going to tell the story of my first apartment and my odd roommate. The other story times are coming soon whenever I get in the mood to film again. You know, this one took a minute for me to get in front of the camera, but that's just because, again, I work a lot. So I want to preface this with not saying that I'm attacking her or bashing her in any way. This is just parts of her personality that I just did not agree with. And of course, you know, everyone is raised differently. And I definitely had to learn that in this situation. So one of the things that really grinded my gears was she would leave the door unlocked, like, all the time. And so I remember one day I was getting ready to leave for class, and you know, I see the door was unlocked, and I'm like, this is early in the morning, like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm the first one out the door, so no one could have left before me to leave the door unlocked, you know? So I'm looking at the door and I'm like, okay, maybe that was my fault, maybe that was my bad, you know, maybe one of my roommates forgot, you know, I don't know. But I'm pretty, like, what's it called, like, paranoid, I guess, in that sense. Like, I make sure doors are locked. I make sure my car is locked like 3 times whenever I leave it. When I lock doors, I pull on them to make sure they're locked. So I was like, I don't think this could be me, but maybe, you know. So I leave, you know, I lock the door behind me and I go on about my day. So later that night, my roommate's boyfriend comes over. You know, I hear her greet him at the door or whatever. And then I go into the kitchen. Like, once they go in her room, I go into the kitchen and I'm fixing myself something to eat. And so I just happen to glance at the door and, like, I just see it's unlocked. Like, this is nighttime and it's unlocked. So our apartment was on the 3rd floor. And again, if y'all don't know, I went to Auburn University in Auburn, Alabama. Go Tigers. And that may have played a part in her thought process. Like, it's Auburn, like, what's the worst that can happen, right? Wrong. And we'll get to that later on in the story. The apartment that we lived in, there was student apartments, but it was also the locals could live there, you know, like, they didn't have restrictions on who and could and couldn't live there. So local people from Auburn, Alabama, Opelika, Alabama, you know, they were living there. And Auburn isn't all that, you know, nice. I rock for my people, but in this apartment there were some sketchy people. Just saying. That night I noticed the door was unlocked. Okay, maybe she forgot again. You know, I let it go. I lock it. Go back to my door, or go back to my room. And then just over time, I kept noticing, like, the door is staying unlocked. So I text our, you know, roommate group chat, and I'm like, hey guys, I think someone keeps forgetting to lock the door. Like, what's going on? And so my roommate, we're gonna call her, ooh, what should I call her? I'll just call her roommate 1, just because my other roommate is my friend roomie, Portia. So she gave me some of her insight on the things that she dealt with roommate 1. So yeah, we have roommate 1, then we have Portia. So roommate 1 responded in our group chat, and she was like, oh, I just leave it unlocked because, like, you know, I'm not really worried about anybody breaking in. And I'm like, well, honey, I don't like that. You know, that's not in my ministry. So can we start locking the door? You know, I was nice about it. I don't think I'm a very confrontational person, but if I don't agree with something, I'm gonna speak up. So we came to agreement that she would eventually start locking the door, and it got better. Sometimes it was still unlocked, but it got better. Another thing, which is probably very common for a lot of people with roommates, is, like, a messy kitchen or a messy living room. And so from what I remember, she was always cooking. Like, that's no issue. She even offered to share some of her food. Korsha and I, we were like, no, we're good. But, you know, she was nice. She offered. But even after she cooked, she would always leave her pots on the stove. Like, I remember she would leave food in the pots on the stove, and like it would take her days to put it up, or we would just have to cook around the pot. Like, I don't know if she would just grab food from the pot and just throw it in the microwave. Like, I just don't understand. Like that wasn't sanitary. Like, it wasn't good. Like, I'm sure the food was spoiling quicker, you know, just sitting out in the open like that. But that's what she did. And she also, from Korsha's memories, she was using Korsha's pots. Okay, so I made it clear that nobody can touch my stuff. Like, Korsha could touch my stuff, that was okay, but like anybody who I don't know, I didn't want them touching my stuff. I've known Korsha for at least a year by that point, a year and a half by that point. Because this was sophomore year when I moved into that apartment. So I was cool with Korsha. I knew I could trust Korsha with my stuff. But roommate one, I don't know where you've been. I don't know what you touch. Don't touch my stuff. So she knew not to touch my pots. But Korsha's pots, she had her fingers all up in that. And it would take her a minute to wash the dishes. I'm not gonna lie, I would leave dishes in the sink like for a couple of days, you know. I'm not gonna lie. But she would leave them for like weeks at a time, and it's like, this is not gonna work, you know. Use a pot, wash the dish, put it back where you got it, especially if it's not yours. So this is a random event that happened, and I don't even know how it came up. Like, people tell me their business when I don't ask for it. So I was in charge of paying our electricity bill. And so everybody would send their money to me, and I would go and, you know, pay the bill. And so one time, roommate one wasn't able to send her money on time, which happened quite frequently, and we'll get into that again. So she wasn't able to send her money, and so I was like, you know, what's going on? She said, oh, I just had to have surgery. My cat scratched me, and I had to get, he basically gave her a disease, and she had to have surgery on her arm. Like, I don't know what disease that could be. Like, I'm about to Google it and see what disease that could be, because I've never heard of that. And there are zoonotic diseases, you know, things that can be transferred between animal and human. But to go as far to have a surgery because your cat scratched you, like, that was pretty intense, you know? So yeah, she had to pay for the surgery, and I was like, all right, cool, you know, just give me the money whenever you can. And she eventually did. Like, she was pretty good on her word. But it got to the point when, this is sophomore year going to junior year, you know, we're the summer. So I'm moving out of this apartment because I'm kind of over it. And so, you know, we're going our separate ways. But I still had to pay the last electricity bill. So Korsha sends me her part of the money, and I'm still waiting on roommate's one part of the money. And so once I move out, like, I had really no way of contacting this girl. Like, I didn't know where to find her. I didn't know where she was from. We never really got close like that. So I'm texting her like, hey, you know, when are you gonna send your part of the bill? Like, where's my money? Basically, because I don't play by my money, period. She's like, yeah, I'll send it at some point. I have to ask my parents and my grandparents for the money. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But like, it was only like, it was $50. Like, it was $50. And someone told me to charge it to the game, but I don't play about any money. Like, if you owe me money, give me my money. So she was like, yeah, I'll just have to ask my parents and my grandparents. So it got to the point where she was like not responding to my text messages. So I found her Instagram. Mind you, I had never knew this girl's Instagram before. I just knew her first name and last name because I saw it on a piece of mail. I might be the FBI. Don't play with me. So I saw her name on a piece of mail and I searched her Instagram name and boom, she popped up. So I was like, if push comes to shove, I'm about to find this girl and get my money because I'm not playing. But eventually she did send me my money. So it was okay. You know, we ended on a good note. So another one of Course's memories of roommate one was that her sister moved into our apartment. Mind you, we didn't really, I think she warned us that her sister was coming, but we didn't know she was actually moving into the apartment. So this is during one of the breaks, I think. I don't remember if it was summer. I think it was summer because Portia was still living there. She wasn't ready to move out yet. I had moved out early. And then roommate one, basically, she just went back home over the summer. I don't even remember if she told us. I just remember, or Portia said, she remembers walking in the apartment one day and someone ran into roommate one's door. Like she just saw a flash of somebody running. There were trash bags all over the counter. Like somebody was living there. And she didn't know who it was. So Portia contacted roommate one. She's like, who is that? She's like, oh, it's my sister. She's just staying there for a few weeks, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, you didn't really clear that with us to let this happen. Like, we don't know your sister. Like, that was just weird. It was just weird. I don't know why. It was just weird. So back to her leaving doors unlocked. Portia remembered a memory where roommate one was upset because her laptop got stolen out of her car because she left her car doors unlocked all the time. And then she was also freaking out one day because she thought her car was stolen from our apartment, but she didn't put her apartment decal in the car windshield, so her car just got towed. Like, she just always had something going on, and I felt bad for the girl, but it's like, some of this stuff is just common sense, and like, I don't know what to tell you. You either got it or you don't. Okay. Now this, I think, is the part that everybody was intrigued about. I don't even think I have told my closest friends this story. They might have heard about it since they went to school, you know, in Auburn too. But yeah, this is the time when I basically experienced a shooting in my apartment. So I said there were some sketchy people that lived in my apartment. You know, sometimes I'll walk outside, get ready to go to class, and there are these guys, and they're, you know, trying to hit on me. They looked very rough. They were not necessarily my type, but, you know, I was friendly. I said, hey, you know, I have to go to class, but thank you. So yeah, those are the guys that lived in my apartment. And I remember I was asleep one fine Sunday morning, and all I hear is pop, pop, right? So I'm asleep, and I hear the pop, pop, and I'm like, what the freak? Like, I've never heard gunshots before, so I don't even know what this is for real. And then again, I hear pop, 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 and I jump. Remembering this story, like, I was terrified, y'all. I've never heard gunshots in my life. All right, so this was a little foreign to me, you know. I'm like, what's going on? Like, is there a scuffle outside my apartment building? I'm literally like, this is like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking I'm about to have a smooth little Sunday. I had to literally roll out of my bed because I'm scared I'm about to get shot. At this point, the way my apartment is laid out, let's say this is the front of the apartment, then this is Portia's room, and then my room was like next door to her. So we had like a wall in between us, you know? And then my other roommate was on the other side. So they both had windows facing the front of the apartment. And then I had a window like on the side of the apartment building. So I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't know where the shots were coming from. I just knew somebody was shooting. So I'm on the floor. My heart is beating. You know, I'm thinking the worst. I grab my phone and I crawl to my bathroom, like army crawl, literally, to my bathroom. And I'm texting my roommate, like, what's going on? Can you see outside? Like, where are you, you know? And so Portia wasn't there, but roommate 1 was there, and she's like, yeah, I think those were gunshots. So I'm laying low, you know, I'm not about to leave my room while whoever's outside is going off. Eventually, somebody knocked on our door, and then I hear roommate 1 go to the door, and apparently he's a police officer, and I guess he was just making sure like we were okay. And from the story that I've heard, it was just a disagreement in the parking lot from one of the locals, okay? And they started shooting and they ran away. And then like our neighbors across the hallway from us, like they had shots in their kitchen, like hitting their cabinets. So if we were in the living room or anything, somebody could have gotten hurt. As far as I know, nobody got hurt in the apartment, but it could have been a lot worse than what it was, and it was pretty scary. Looking back on it, it's funny now because of the way I reacted. But yeah, that is my odd roommate story time. Again, it's not like a consecutive story, it's just a whole bunch of events that all happened during that time of my life, and I just want to share it with you all. So I hope you enjoyed. My other story times are going to be more like, well, the boss one, I'm gonna give that some time. I'm gonna let that marinate for a minute so I can get all my stories together. It's again different stories put together. But then the COVID roommate one, I can film that. That's one very funny story time. If you have any video ideas for me, drop them below in the comments. Again, follow me on my social media, my Twitter and my Instagram. Until next time, stay safe and stay blessed.